All right, good evening. We're going to start the January 19th, 2021 meeting. Happy New Year. We're going to start off with the invocation, then the Pledge of Allegiance by Commissioner Firstner. Then we'll have roll call. Everybody please stand. Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight to do our weekly brand new Year meeting. We wish that you would let us be forth with doing the right things for our citizens and leading our city in the right direction as we try to do with our commissioners and the mayor here. We ask for your help and guidance as we go along with this job with the city. We ask you to be looking after us as we have this COVID scare, COVID-19, and help us with our first responders that they are safe and our citizens. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Commissioner Brunson?
Here.
Commissioner Wilson?
Here.
Mayor Johnson?
Here.
Commissioner Firstner?
Here.
Commissioner Oliver?
Here.
All right. Before we get started tonight, we got a little thing we need to do here. I'm going to ask Chief Charlie Brown to step up to the podium. You're still chief, right? Yeah. I don't know if everybody knows, but the ones that are citizens are here don't know. Our chief, Charles Brown, is, I call you Charlie, but it says Charles, so sorry about that, and is retired. He, I want to read this little bio here, Charlie. Chief Brown was hired on November the 23rd, 1992, and held every rank within the department. He was promoted to chief on August the 25th, 2008. Man, it's been that long? And has been the longest serving police chief for over 12 years. During his tenure as chief, he transitioned our local police department into an accredited police agency. And the policing philosophy are providing excellent customer service and partnering with all segments of our community was instilled from his leadership to our officers. Chief Brown's commitment to our personnel, training, and equipment are the reasons the Ocoee Police Department has a very high level of success and a community which loves the Ocoee Police Department. Chief, your leadership inspires every person serving in the Ocoee Police Department to be their very best, in turn making our police department the best police department around. This commission, your department, city staff, and our community will surely miss you. Enjoy your retirement. I got one more thing, Charlie. To read. Oh, this thing's heavy. Man. All right. Proclamation. Whereas the city of Ocoee prides itself in honoring, recognizing, and praising the efforts of those individuals who have strived to leave an indelible mark on the fabric of this community. Therefore, the tradition continues today as diligent men and women change the course of their lives as they retire from public service. Whereas Chief Charles J. Brown has distinguished himself as a skilled law enforcement chief for the Ocoee Police Department, whose devotion and allegiance to his profession have been instrumental in the success of the Ocoee Police Department. Whereas during his tenure of over 28 years of dedicated service to the Ocoee Police Department and the citizens of Ocoee, Chief Brown has earned the respect and admiration of his subordinates and colleagues for his leadership, profession, and vision. Whereas Chief Brown is a dedicated chief, embodies the mission of the Ocoee Police Department, committed to partnering with the community to improve the quality of life, preserve order, and provide excellence in police service. He demonstrates the Ocoee Police Department values of being approachable and responsive to those they serve. Whereas Chief Brown's career has been devoted to mentoring men and women in law enforcement, but setting an example of ethics, dedication to duty, and helping each realize their potential. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Rusty Johnson, Mayor of the City of Ocoee, and members of the City Commission, on behalf of the city and this community, do hereby proclaim Friday, January 22nd, 2021, as Chief Charles J. Brown Day. In observation thereof, I call upon the citizens of Ocoee to join me in congratulating Chief Charles J. Brown as he embarks on a new stage in his life and in thanking him for the outstanding service he has rendered to our community. In witness whereof, I hereby set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Ocoee, Florida, to be affixed this 19th day of January, 2021. Chief Brown, I just personally, I'm going to say a few words in a minute, but I don't know anybody here, especially would let the commissioners, anybody have any comments?
Charlie, we're gonna miss you. I mean, it's been a long time we've been working with the city, so we appreciate all the time you have and what you've done for the city, so thank you very much. We are gonna miss you.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I would like to say, I'm going to miss you, Charlie. We worked together for a long time, many years, and we had each other's back all the way through it. And I wish you the best of luck in retirement. You're too young to sit on a porch someplace on a rocking chair, so whatever you pursue, good luck with it, and stay in touch, please.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
Chief, we first met, me standing on the corner, and you just stopping by every morning, just kind of waving thumbs up. I enjoyed those moments when I was up there, and when I became a city commissioner, I got to work with you a little more closely, and you've done a lot of things. You've got a lot of stuff done for our community, our district, and I've sat back and watched you do some amazing things in transforming our police department into the #1 police department in all of Central Florida. So I want to say thank you for that. I believe you're ex-military. I think we had a conversation with the Navy.
No, not me.
Oh, I'm sorry, Chief.
My family was all military.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna make you an honorary Navy man today, because one of the things that we say to our shipmates that are leaving the ship for the last time is we tell them a job well done. It was a job well done, and I want to tell you, fair winds and following seas, my shipmate. So thank you so much for the work you've done for the city of Ocoee. The city can rest assured that you're leaving us in good hands, and you've done a wonderful job here. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Well, I guess I'm the last one before the mayor. I met you when I came on board here on the commission, and because of my dealings and relationships outside of this position, I meet a lot of senior law enforcement people. And I can say without question and without hesitation that you're one of the finest I've met. So I thank you for being all that you've done for the city of Ocoee, but also for the first responders under your charge. And I'm hoping, I think I mentioned to you in the hallway, that you don't wake up one morning, get dressed and head back to the PD, thinking that you're on your way to work. But if you do, I'm sure you will be welcomed with open arms, because I think you're well respected in your line. So again, as everyone is saying, may the best of your past be the worst of your future.
Thank you, Mayor. You all know I've been here about 17 years, and Charlie's probably one of the few people who's been here the whole time I've been here, except G and Sherry up in my office. And, I think back to 2008 when I made him the acting chief, and I thought he was going to say no for a minute. It was a more interesting place back then. We had some very interesting discussions, and I also remember when we appointed Charlie to the permanent chief. And, I got to say, I got a great working relationship with him since 2008. And if I had to do it again, I would do exactly the same thing. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you for working with me so well, and come on back. We'll put you to work for free as a reserve, whenever you want.
For free, you're saying?
Yes, for free.
I think, Charlie, you grew up in Orlando, didn't you? Went to Colonial? I think it was Colonial. He's a local young man that went to college at UCF, got his degree, got his master's degree, studied with the FBI Academy. And I think he even went to Russia, didn't you? Did a thing there. One of the things about Charlie Brown is he's always been around, always been participating in things. He's worked with us on Founders Day for years. We appreciate it. I know I always know that, I think I was counting them up the other night, 6 or 7 chiefs before you that I was around when I started. So you've been the one that stuck to it. We appreciate it. I think you've done a great job. You and your wife are a part of the town. I hope you're still going to be living here. Absolutely. And be a part of our town. I know that you'll be around if we have anything we need to talk to you about. I think that's good. I have thoroughly enjoyed having you as on the staff where I can call you and talk with you, and it's been a pleasure having you as the chief. it's nice to know that there's somebody around that hangs in and earns his way up through the ranks, and that's what you did, and we really appreciate you being in our town and our chief.
Well,
Go ahead
thank
and
you,
I'll
Mayor.
get you the plaque.
I appreciate it. So 1992 seems like a long time ago, but really it doesn't. One of the greatest days of my life was when the city manager, Rob, appointed me to the chief, and I've taken it very serious. I think that we've become a very professional agency. We have very professional law enforcement officers with professional policies, and they really care about this community, and they do a great job. As far as the support I get that I have gotten from the commission, couldn't have done any of this without you. We've come a long way in technology and resources, and that takes the city commission to do that. And I'm going to tell a quick story about the mayor. You talked about me getting a degree. I don't know if you remember, but we were at a conference in Bonita Springs, and you drove home so I could finish my last assignment.
Yeah,
I typed all the way home, but it was
I
going to
do
be
remember
late
that,
if he
yeah.
wouldn't drive. So I probably won't let him drive again, but I appreciate that. So
Oh,
you
well.
have a part of that degree as well.
thank you.
But thank you all, and thank you for the support. It's been great.
Don't go nowhere. I'd like to get a picture with Charlie and myself, and then we'll do one of the commission too. Take a little minute here to do this. Let me get one with him, and Rob, you too. Rob, let's get one of him, then I'll get all commissioners up. All right. That, you got it? Got it. All right, commissioners?
One, two, three, four. You know I'm okay. Very good. He's got that memory in the mask. Certainly can tell what year it was. Yeah, you can. You can say both.
I do. I didn't know you moved. Oh, yeah. All right.
Now I wonder why I couldn't see very clearly.
All right. All right, we've done the presentations, proclamations, staff report.
I have nothing this evening, Mayor.
All right, commissioners' announcements. Commissioner Wilson,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Brinson,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Oliver,
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Fershner.
Not at this time.
All right. Let me read off this thing before we get going here. Public comment announcement. City Hall is open to the public. However, attendance inside the Ocoee Commission chambers may be limited to accommodate social distancing and is subject to the governor's executive orders. Any interested party may be heard during the public comments and public hearing portions of the meeting. In order to participate remotely, members of the public should call 407-554-7118 or email citizens@ocoee.org in advance and indicate the item you would like to address at the appropriate time during the meeting. City staff will contact you via phone and patch you into the meetings where you can share your comments and/or questions. Comments and questions received via email will become public records and provided to the city commissioners in advance of the meetings. All right. Let's see. All right, we're down to public comments. Any public comments from anything not on the
It's on the agenda. I have not received any emails or phone calls with regards to anything on the agenda.
All right.
I have one comment for the end.
At the end, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. At the end of the meeting, right on the other one. All right. Consent agenda. I have any discussion, or do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make a motion that we approve this consent agenda as listed.
I have an item I need to pull.
All right. All right. What item do you want to pull for? I make the
Item number 2.
2. All right. Motion made. Do I hear a second?
I'll second that.
Motion seconded by Commissioner Wilson for items 1,
3 through 8.
where the hell?
3 through 8.
Hold on. Whoops. All right, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Any more discussion on those items? All right, do I hear a vote yes or no?
You can-
Yes, sir. There.
All right, those carried. Now we're going to discuss item 2.
Okay, yes, item number 2 is approval of the reappointments for the Citizens Advisory Council to the Ocoee Police Department. On this item here, I just have just a general question. There is about 5 names listed here for reappointment. However, only one member wishes to be reappointed. So my question is, if that's the case, then is that going to be 4 open positions that's going to be on this board, or do we have backup members that would be filling those slots? I'm not sure how that works, but I did have a question about that.
Those would be open positions. Currently, there is a vacancy already that's on the board. We haven't received any applications for any of our boards. You know, right now, due to COVID, we haven't received any applications for any of our advisory boards.
Melanie, did the other 4 not want to be reappointed?
Correct.
Okay.
They either did not contact us about it, or they contacted us and said they did not want to be
Gotcha.
reappointed.
So it is a 3-year term.
Correct. They
And-
were on the board for the 3 years. They just aren't looking to
So
continue.
right now, it sounds like there's 5 open positions for this particular board. So you got four that's not, that does not wish to be reappointed, and
And
one that was already vacant, so it's a total of 5. Okay, that's fine. The reason I bring this up is because this is an excellent opportunity for us, as commissioners, from this diocese to let folks know that whenever there's opportunities in the city to work for the city, to work with the city, to get things done, this particular advisory board works with the police department. So as you can hear now, there's 5 open positions to work in the Citizens Advisory Board for the police department. So I'm going to encourage anyone that wants to get involved in the city to contact the clerk's office to seek appointment to the Citizens Advisory Board for the Ocoee Police Department. That's all I had.
All right. Second, let's see, public hearing, none. First reading of ordinances, none. Second reading of ordinance, public hearing.
Mayor,
put it
you got to
back.
approve number
Yeah,
2
vote for
yet.
number 2.
Oh,
Put it
we
back
got to
on
vote
the
on that. All right,
So
we're going-
I'll make the motion.
I need a motion for number 2.
I'll make the motion that we put the item number 2 back on the consent agenda.
All right, motion by Commissioner Oliver, item number 2. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Brinson. All in favor? Motion carries unanimously. All right, now we'll move on. Item number 9, second reading of ordinances for campus property, 511 Whittier Avenue, annexation and rezoning. Zoning manager, Judge of the Heart, you up.
Good evening, Commission. Tonight, the item in front of you is an application for annexation and rezoning at 511 Whittier Avenue, also known as campus property. The parcel is located to the south of Center Street, north of East Silver Star Road, east of 2nd Street. The parcel is 18.18 acres large, 8,016 square feet in size, 100-foot width. It's currently Orange County R1, and it's surrounded by R1 and R1A zoning. The parcel is currently vacant, as you can see in the aerial here. so 100 feet wide. The 100-foot width meets our R1 zoning, and the 8,000 square feet does meet our 7,000 square foot requirement for the lot requirement for R1 zoning. The parcel is eligible for annexation due to the parcel to the west being recently annexed into the city. It's also within our joint planning agreement area with Orange County. It'll help annexing will help it reduce it as an enclave, so it's a logical extension to the city limits so that water can be provided and our city services. In yellow is the surrounding parcels within the city that are zoned as R1 or R1A, which is our low-density residential zoning. In white is the parcels that are still Orange County. But as you can see, it is surrounded by R1A single-family dwellings in R1. It's also consistent with our future land use. The entire area around the property is low-density residential with a little bit of professional services to the south and commercial off of Silver Star Road. But in the yellow, all low-density residential. With that, the Development Review Committee, Planning and Zoning Commission, and staff does recommend approval of the property. With that, I can take any questions.
All right, anybody up on the dais have any questions before? All right, I'm gonna open it to the public. You, wait a minute, first, you need to read.
Yeah, let me go
I'll
ahead
you
and I'll read the title
All
to
right.
the annexation ordinance. This is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, annexing into the corporate limits of the City of Ocoee, Florida, certain real property containing approximately 0.18 acres located approximately 700 feet north of East Silver Star Road and 600 feet south of Center Street pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner. Finding said annexation to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, the Ocoee City Code, providing for and authorizing the updating of official city maps, providing direction to the city clerk, providing for severability, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for an effective date. And the rezoning ordinance is an ordinance of the City of Ocoee, Florida, changing the zoning classification from Orange County R1 Single Family to City of Ocoee R1 Single Family on certain real property containing approximately 0.18 acres located approximately 700 feet north of East Silver Star Road and 600 feet south of Center Street pursuant to the application submitted by the property owner, finding such zoning to be consistent with the Ocoee Comprehensive Plan, providing for and authorizing the revision of the official city zoning map, repealing inconsistent ordinances, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
All right, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna open the public hearing. Anybody have any comments on either one of these issues?
Mayor, we have not received any emails or phone calls for this.
All right, what we're gonna do, we'll close the public hearing and come back just for the annexation one, then we'll do a second one for the rezoning. Do I have a motion for the annexation?
Make a motion?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Brinson. Any more comments? If not, let's vote on the annexation. Motion carries unanimously. Open the public hearing again for the rezoning. Anybody in the comments in the audience for rezoning? All right, close that, bring it back to the board. Do I hear a motion for rezoning ordinance?
Make that motion?
Motion made by Commissioner Wilson. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Brinson. Any more comments? No more comments? Let's vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. All right, regular agenda, none. Staff actions?
Nothing, sir.
Nothing. Comments from citizens and public? All right, we have one. I'll open the public hearing one for Brian Charles. Charles, come on up to the podium. Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm not really sure of what the protocol is. This is my first time speaking, but I'm here to speak about bicycle safety. I sent an email. I got a electronic bike last weekend, and on my ride from purchasing the bike, riding it back to my house, it was about 9 miles, eight miles, and I noticed that I was being overtaken very closely by cars, right? They weren't really giving me space as they were passing me by. And I looked up, what is the safe distance that there should be between a car that is passing you and you're riding your bike, and it says 3 feet is the law. And I didn't know that. I knew you were supposed to give space. I didn't think I knew it was exactly 3 feet initially. So I started doing a little bit more digging, and I sent a couple of emails. One email that I sent was to Commissioner Oliver, and Commissioner Oliver asked me to come and just kind of speak today. So real quick, I just kind of want to, again, just kind of maybe ask if there's something that we can maybe do as the city of Ocoee. The reason I purchased the bike, as you can see, I'm a little overweight, right? I've been in much better shape in my life. And I have kids, and I have a job, and I have all kind of things. And I say, if I could start maybe biking to work, if I can, the things that are within the Ocoee area, going to the grocery store, working, I work at a school, riding my bike to school and back, and things of that nature. If I could just do that, that'd be a practical way to get some extra exercise in, and maybe, improve my health. However, you want to feel safe, when you're doing that as well. So something else that I've noticed since I've had this bike is the bicycle lanes. The bicycle lanes, while there are some places that have them and others that don't, I actually prefer not to ride on them at this point because they're full of like garbage, glass, debris. And, again, I paid decent money for this bike. I don't want to mess it up, rolling over that kind of thing, those types of things. The question might be, well, why not ride on the sidewalk? Well, in the sidewalk, from what I understand, you can only go like 8 miles an hour on the sidewalk. And you're not really supposed to ride on the sidewalk anyway, but also will damage your bike. Every time you go over those lines and it hits the spoke, and again, my weight, and just it'll damage your bike over time, so that causes more repairs. So long story short, as I wrap it up, again, I just kind of was reaching out to see if there's anything that can be done, a way to get the word out, like what the safe distance is to pass, maybe, again, some lighting in some areas, just different things. What can be done to make it safe to bicycle in Ocoee?
All right.
I rode my bike here today, so.
All right. I think the best thing, the police probably can have some comments on the safety part of the bicycle things. I don't know if Silver Star Road is the county road, but it doesn't have a bicycle on the side.
So this is a multi-prong issue. Obviously, the engineering of the roadways is part of the issue. I know that the city has in their comprehensive plans multimodal transportation, and that's part of it is the biking part. Education, we do have, we're doing a big push on pedestrian and not as much bicycles right now, but we are doing some extra work with DOT on some pedestrian issues that we've been having. And then we need to also enforce the rules that are in place. There are good rules in place, but biking on the roadway becomes secondary to all the cars, and so it makes it very difficult. I would like to meet with you and have my staff maybe even talk to you about helping us with some plans and what we can do better. And then we can also get with some of the city staff to talk about future plans of roadways and stuff. So,
All right.
but
Thank
it's something that's that pedestrians and bikes have always been an issue with on the roadway, and we are really. I'm not sure when the enforcement action is going to take place, but Silver Star and Clark, there will be an enforcement action coming up in the near future. So, okay.
All right, thank you, Chief. All right, you I guess commissioners are.
I have a comment.
I figured. Okay, go ahead.
Mr. Childs, thank you so much for coming before us. And when we did have our conversation, after I received your email and we had the conversation, by the time I did speak to you, he'd already contacted the state of Florida to get the statutes and how that works. So I was really impressed by the information that you had once we had the opportunity to speak to one another. And I thought it was important that you would come before us, and it was just that important as Chief Brown being here to have a lot of information about programs that we may already have in place. So, therefore, I know, speaking for myself, I would love to partner with you to work with the police department to figure out how do we get some education with the motorists to talk about bicycle safety with motorists. And the reason I say that goes back to our conversation. I remember some years ago, there was a big push for motorcycle safety. And there was the thing about the helmets. And I know at the time the Governor Scott at the time signed the bill into law that they didn't have to have helmets. But what went along with that was there was a vast educational program that went out throughout the state of Florida about motorcycling. I think we can probably do the same thing within our city, something with cyclists, that we may print some bumper stickers or some signs. But I'll be more than happy to work with you. I can get my youth council involved to kind of come with some ideas to work with you in the police department to see what kind of programs we can come up with for cyclists. We have a lot of cyclists in the city because we actually have the West Ones Trail that goes right through the center of our city. So we have a lot of cyclists on our roads. So I think it's a great program, and I'll definitely be more than happy to partner with you in your efforts. Thank you.
Any other comments? I would say that if you have the time, it'd be good to get on that police advisory board and see if maybe they'd even help push those same things, get on the advisory board. We got some openings, so you get on that and maybe help do that. I'll tell you, I know one of the guys that on the bicycle safety was a big part, helped me back probably 25 years ago in one of my elections. He was a commissioner in Kissimmee, then he became a state rep, then he came back and worked for the county commissioner. He ended up getting hit one morning on his bicycle and killed him here back about a year and a half ago. So it is a serious thing, and we need people to be cognizant of that and know what the safety rules are. So yes, I think we need to all work on that. Thank you. All right. Where are we going to start here? Let's see. I got anybody else in the public? You filled out a form yet, sir?
I don't know nothing on the form. I don't know where is that.
Back in the back. Back in the back. There's forms back. Go ahead and come up and talk. Then when you get through, please fill the form out and then bring it up. All right. Yeah, come on up.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hope Bellamy, 1704 Adair Street. I'm a resident of Ocoee, and I'm here with a concern as far as the Ocoee Police Department. Nothing bad. It's exceptional. It's a great police department. I had many interactions with Ocoee Police Department, and every time I was pleased with the results. But hearing about Ocoee and the officers and the detention, but actually interacting with them, it's a big difference. Ocoee Police Department is definitely one of the best police departments I ran into, even coming from the street side. And I see that the chief has done exceptional well over the years that he built and rebuilt the police department. Now, it's keen that the next person take over the position is someone that could carry the legacy on and bring it to the current standards of what's going on. As we see, we just had a shooting here in Ocoee. We don't know where the people came from. We know what happened in Ocoee. Months ago, another shooting here in Ocoee. We could point out Orlando, we could point out Kissimmee, we could point out any city we want in a surrounding area and blame it as someone coming from those areas. But we have someone here in Ocoee Police Department who is from the Orlando sector of the police department that done exceptionally well as an officer in that district. So I'm not sure how the process going. I did send a letter in months ago, and it was said we'll come back to it in January. It's January now, and with the chief officially going into retiring, ASAP, whatever per se, what is the next step? Is there a way that the community can see who's vying, or the city clerk can show us, who is up for that? What qualifications do they have? What is their background in law enforcement? Where they come from? Because I think it's key that we keep the momentum that we have in the Ocoee Police Department within the ranks of the police department, with fellow officers of the police department, with background of police department, because you're going to need it. We're going to need it, because right now, with Orlando have extra forces and they're weeding out a lot of crime. It's like raid or some when you spray raid, the roaches run to another area. So what do you think they're gonna do when they spraying in Orlando and Pine Hills area? They're gonna run to the next city over, and it could be Ocoee, because there's a lot of hideout areas in a little town like this. I'm giving it to you. I'm telling you what it is. So let's not revisit this situation saying, I told you so. Let's keep the momentum going and keep the police department in line. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Any other comments? I will say that the deputy chief thing will be up, or not deputy chief, but the chief deal will be up to our city manager. It's his position, his job to do that. They'll do the process in hiring the next chief. So that'll come up through the city manager's office, not through the commission. All right. No more public comments? All right, we'll go back to the, let's start back on the, I'll start with Commissioner Firstner. Comments?
I just want to urge everybody to sign up for the COVID vaccinations. Very painless process. You don't even feel the needle stick. But if you get on the list, they'll set dates for you. You go down to, right now, the only one I know that's doing it is the Orange County Convention Center. And it's a drive-through process. And my wife and I went Saturday and took a total of 26 minutes from end to end. And they're very efficient, and they set you up for the second appointment right then and there. A month later, you come back for the second dose of it. And it's really going well. The vaccinations are getting out there. Hopefully it has a positive effect on this COVID-19 problem. We all need to see an end to that, get rid of these things. That's all.
All right, Commissioner Oliver.
First item I have is for the citizens that live in the reserve. I have met with several citizens there, and they had issues with the roads, and I've been working with the city manager to get some things done over there. They've done a stellar job in repairing some of the manholes and getting things done there. I have ridden through that neighborhood at least 3 times. Every street within that neighborhood I've went through there, and it seems that none of the roads have been paved. They don't have any blacktops within the past maybe 25 years. They're still having the same roads, and we're repairing them. So I did promise the members or the resident of that neighborhood that I will talk a little bit about what our plans are moving forward. And as we go into our budgeting workshops, I will be talking about or pushing for that neighborhood getting those roads resurfaced. We've already had some preliminary conversation with the city manager about it, so it's on his radar. He has that information on his desk, and as we move forward into the workshop, that is something we will discuss about getting that neighborhood new blacktops, new resurfacing within that neighborhood. Also, I need to know if there's anyone here from Public Works, because a few months ago, we had some conversations about the bus stop on the corner of Clark Road and McCormick. We were waiting to hear back from the school board to see if they were going to move the bus stop from that busy intersection to somewhere else. I just need to get an update on that. If we have not heard anything yet, I just want to make sure that we keep that on the radar and to see if we can get an update pretty soon. See if we can either move the bus stop or if we need to put some signs to say, hey, school bus approaching or school bus stop ahead. No one's here? Okay, so I'll give you a call tomorrow. Let's see if we can just kind of keep that on the radar and make sure that we stay on top of that. And I'll follow up with the residents that's concerned about that once I speak with the city manager. Now, Mr. Childs talked about bicycling and getting healthy and getting fit, and I think it's appropriate that he come talk to us about that tonight, because I actually want to talk about an event that that's going to be going on January 30th, which is Saturday. We're going to start off at, it's called Get Fit Ocoee. The idea is to get people out the house. We've been dealing with COVID. These numbers have been going up tremendously. A lot of folks are still hunkered down in the house, getting cabin fever. The goal of Get Fit Ocoee is to get folks out the house to learn about walking, learn about your health, bicycling, running, jogging, or whatever it takes to actually kind of get fit. We're going to have people there. There will be personal trainers there. There will be gyms there. Healthy food trucks will be there to talk to you about eating healthy, exercising healthy. How do you get started bicycling? If you're interested in riding bicycles, how to get started. There'll be experts there to talk to you about how to get started cycling. If you don't want to cycle, you want to just start off walking. There'll be people there to teach you how to start walking, how to worry about your respiratory health, how to get into jogging, what type of equipment to have. So there'll be a multitude of vendors there. We're also partnering with High Point Church. They will be there helping us out, getting the word out. New Destiny Church will also be there, as we will be in their parking lot. So we'll be at 505 McCormick Road and Apopka Violin Road, New Destiny Church. That's going to be Saturday, January 30th, 2021. Come on out. We're going to start at 9 a.m. till about noon. And we're also going to be walking the trail. We're going to do a 5K walk run. The cyclists are going to do like a 10K for the cyclists. So we're actually going to be right there on the trail, getting people engaged. So the goal is to get out, get Ocoee out. Let's come on out. Let's get fit. Let's get healthy together. I know I can lose a few pounds myself. Due to COVID, I've gained a couple of pounds around the middle. So I'm going to probably get me a gym membership while I'm there and learn how to get into some of the more strenuous exercise like cycling. So there's some things I want to talk to you about as well. So come on out, Ocoee, June 30th. Saturday from 9 to noon, and we'll also be posting things via Facebook and social media, so you can get this information. Tell your neighbors to come on out the house and let's come together and get fit together. And then finally, as the nation mourns today, COVID is a topic that we all talk about on a daily basis, at the water hole, at work, or driving down the street on your phone, or walking down the street, or in the office. It's everywhere you are. COVID is the #1 topic around the world today. One of the topics is the fact that we all have probably known someone that has been affected by this deadly disease. And whether you have lost a beloved grandparent, or a mother, or a father, a husband, a wife, a sister, a brother, cousin, a friend, a coworker. We all hear the stories that a lot of folks have been dying alone. They've been dying in hospitals, they've been dying at home, and they've been dying alone. And then you have a small nucleus of your family that can come and bury your family and mourn the loss in small private sectors or small private groups. Well, today the nation has come together to let us all know that you're not alone. We as a nation has come together to support those that have lost hundreds of millions of people across the United States that lost their lives due to COVID. So I want to recognize those that have lost loved ones due to COVID, and whether you know whoever they may be, that you're not alone, that we are here as a nation today, tonight, and we are suffering with you, we are praying with you, and we are there with you, and we are there for you. And I can say the same thing about the city of Ocoee. We are here with you. We're here with our citizens. We love you, and we want to meet you at your needs. Anything you need from us as a city, please feel free to reach out to the city of Ocoee, and you will see the love that we have for our citizens by just reaching out. I get, with that being said, I get a lot of text messages and emails almost on a daily basis. Folks want to pray for me, for my day, for my family, just people that just want to love on one another. And I'm sure a lot of you probably experience that too with your loved ones, your friends. You get prayers all the time, just wishing you a good day and that God would take you through today. Today I got a message today, and it was for me. My wife sent this message to me, and she has a prayer session every single day, and about every other day she sends me a prayer message. A good friend of mine sitting in the back sent me a long prayer this morning as well, and I thank you. But one of the things I couldn't help but to think as I read this prayer, I was thinking about our city. I couldn't help but to think about my city. Even though this prayer was for me, but I couldn't help but to think about our city. And I wanted to just kind of say this prayer for our city. And I hope it will resonate with you and take it with you, and may it transform your heart as you hear this prayer. This prayer says, "For I know the plans that I have for you, says the Lord. They are plans for good and not for disaster, to give you a future and to give you hope." This comes from Jeremiah 29, verse 11. God bless you, and thank you so much.
All right, let's see, Commissioner Brinson.
What I want to do is reiterate some of the things that we've been talking about, but first and foremost, it is safety. Safety is paramount, not just in bicycle safety, child safety, elder safety. We still have a lot of children that's going back and forth to schools. We still have a lot of children that's playing in the streets. I know in my community, I actually had to weigh in, even though it wasn't for me to weigh in. I had to weigh in because of the parking situation. So I'm hopeful that all the residents will come together as a community to make sure that we're remaining safe. Sometimes our children are not as safe as they should be, so we need to make sure that we stay on top of that as well. Bicycle safety is obviously something that's been talked about earlier this evening. There's a lot of bicycling going on now due to COVID-19, and people are getting tired of being homebound. So be mindful of that on the road. But with that on the road, I also like to say, if there are hazards on the road and you witness these hazards or you see these hazards, feel free to contact the departments. Just go to the city's website, contact the city departments, whether it's Park and Recreation, whether it's Public Works. Let them know what's going on. And I assure you that our department's directors they're great at getting to it, making sure they correct any discrepancies that may be out there. But if we don't let them know, then they may not know. And so we have to do our part as residents and as citizens. I was driving down the road a couple of weeks ago, and I don't know who dropped it or dropped them, but there was 3 or 4 large logs in the middle of the road, and people just driving around them. And so me being me, I put off to the side, and they were relatively heavy. They were probably 25 pounds each. So I had to get those out of the road. But my point is that a lot of people drove by them, and had someone not been paying attention or they couldn't drive around them, then there was an accident waiting to happen. So if you see things and you're not in a position where you can take care of them, give a call to our city departments, and they will be more than happy to come out there. Remember, safety. I can't stress that enough. There's something that happened January 6th in Washington, D.C. that caused the United States to once again be on high alert. So be mindful, keep your head on a swivel when you're going to and fro, especially tomorrow and beyond. We don't expect anything to happen here within the city. However, you don't know. And so if you see something happening, make sure you avoid that area. Don't be a looky-loo. Don't go down there to try to find out what's going on. Avoid the area at all costs, and let our first responders do what they have to do to secure that area. And again, if there's anything that you need me to address, give a call to City Hall. You can get in contact with me, or just send me an email at lbrinson@ocoee.org. Thank you.
All right, Commissioner Wilson.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. There's been an issue that I've been thinking about, and I've been following for the last probably month or so, maybe more. But I was thinking about this issue because the mayor rightfully brought it up at the last meeting with regards to the industrial development area, or should I say developments, there's multiple. I've been thinking about this issue over the past few weeks, and I've been invited to meet with a few developers about the industrial parks. And I'm wondering if this is being looked at in totality by the city. I'm just going to read my notes and I'll kind of go off from that. I question if staff is prepared for this type of development where thousands of truck trips will be on the roadways, and we aren't sure there aren't items like Clark Road truck limitations out there that would cause problems down the line. This is a dramatic change in the type of buildings foreseen and huge impact to areas near the more populated areas of our city. I believe there are a lot of new homes going up, and there are a lot of questions to be answered. I think we need time to evaluate so many acres changing if you already are not aware. I'm looking at other locations and thinking, and very concerned, if those get approved, will the area in my district, District 2, be a better argument for that to be approved? What I'm referring to is we discussed at the last meeting that there is a plan that it has not been submitted, but it's been talked about regarding light industrial area put on Clark Road across from the mall. If you realize Clark Road does not allow semis. If you haven't seen one, the other day I saw one, and I really thought, what are they doing here? But it surrounds a lot of homes. And in my area, I'm very concerned about our residents who live in our city. You start looking at developments along Clark Road for using one, and when it's light industrial, you've just taken the traffic issue to a whole new level. And that's not just my district. I've met with a few developers, and I'm very concerned about this within our city. And so I was wondering if Mayor, would you mind if we would ask Mike Rumor or even Craig Shadrick, I know Angel De La Porte also deals with our economic areas, if we could have someone kind of give us a rundown for our residents to know what's happening and what's the potential that's going to that could happen in our city, because this is of great concern to me, and it should be of great concern to our residents within the city.
Yeah, we are in a pivotal point in the city's growth. We do have several good developers with good intentions looking to develop large industrial uses, which will change our comprehensive plan future land use map. We have recently approved 1.2 million square feet of light industrial, bulk of that in an existing industrial park that was located between rail and two arterial roads, McGuire and State Road 50. And I'm looking at another 200 acres potentially of industrial development being proposed. And as the developers are good developers, but we are looking at a industrial park and not a development. And it's going to cause my staff to review these developments not only as a site-specific site plan, but we're going to have to review it on what's best for the city. Is it appropriate to put this land use in this area near population? I kind of look at, if you look at the north-south arterial roads in the city, you could say Ocoee is just like McGuire. You have residents going to another arterial road. And Ocoee is the same way. We're doing a lot of homes up on the north side, and they use Ocoee like we use McGuire. And it's going to force us to, which we're under a study for utilities, but we're going to have to find a site to provide a master lift station. We'll have to make some decisions quickly under the pro-development, helping the developer through. We're going to do some quick review times and provide comments, but some of these decisions are going to be lasting. And so I look at it as, is it the appropriate place for an industrial park, not is it the appropriate place for developer A or B that does a nice building. Because at the end of the day, these developments create thousands of trips that we're going to deal with in perpetuity. And so yes, I'm looking at a difficult task for reviewing these expeditiously first to keep with what the city's been known to do, but also asking staff to make decisions, quick decisions for long-term issues, such as utilities, traffic, quality of life, trails. On some of these roads, we want to put trails. Is it appropriate? It may be appropriate to put a form of industrial use. That footprint might be smaller. The architecture might be more retail-like. But in my land development code, my industrial regulations go back to 2001, and it's really more of a piece-by-piece, building-by-building industrial, not a industrial park. If you look at where McCraney built out a nice development in an existing industrial park. And so I'm at an influx, and I'm sure Craig may want to talk on this and have Angel De La Portilla that he knows the market. The market's good. For instance, we have been very selective in our apartment development. And we received the new stats last week that in Central Florida, Volusia, Lake, Orange, Osceola, City of Ocoee has the highest apartment rental rate out of all those counties and cities. Maitland's right behind us, because it's been done in the appropriate place in the appropriate way. This light industrial development that we're seeing, we've been lucky. Some of them, we've got some high-paying jobs. If you need a job, look, they have some jobs open at some of these places that are not totally logistical, but we can't control that after that 10-year lease is done. And so I do have quite a task ahead of me. I have a 2020 comprehensive plan that we got the EAR accepted, which is our evaluation of the comprehensive plan. I need to do another 10, 20-year comprehensive plan, which I was looking to do through staff and a little bit of consultants. And honestly, I wasn't looking at changing land uses that significant, more retail, commercial, not industrial, whether heavy, light, in other places in the city that are currently yellow. And so I see Craig's up here, and
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. This is a very pivotal moment for the city. Mike has a very difficult job ahead of him. I think we're not saying no to industrial land uses, but where they're appropriate is something that he's going to have to determine. The future land use map in the comprehensive plan that he just referred to sets the city's growth vision for a time period. Our vision for most of these areas has been either commercial or residential. He very lightly touched on the impacts, and I want to make sure you all are thinking about this, because that's how we're going to have to approach it. There's a tremendous variation between the impacts of a 150,000 square foot building versus a 25 or 30,000 square foot building. Now, Angel can speak about the market. We believe there's a market for the smaller buildings, but when you talk about impacting areas that are primarily residential in character or residential mixed use in character, that's something that must be dealt with. And then, of course, something that routinely comes up with this body is the infrastructure related items such as water and sewer and transportation. Now, if you're looking to add, as we're hearing may happen, which to my knowledge no applications have been submitted yet, but there's a lot of discussion. We're aware that they've reached out to some of you all. The potential impacts in some of those areas is really great from a transportation standpoint, and I know that's something that's important to you all. And Mike is not prepared to, in a timely fashion, evaluate the impact of hundreds or thousands of 18-wheelers on the north end of town or in the Clark Road corridor. And you know, the mayor brought it up at the last meeting, but there's some serious concerns, and it's very important that we go about it the right way. Now, I don't know if Angel wants to say anything about the market or the difference in the types of jobs created for the different types of industrial projects, but I think that's an important part of the discussion as well.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Angel de la Portilla, your Economic Development Consultant. Aside from my role here at the city, I also work in the private sector representing developers. I'm also on the board of NAIOP. NAIOP is the National Association of Office and Industrial Property Owners. So I've been on the board for 4 years, and I engage very frequently with industrial developers, industrial tenants. What's going on in the market is the pandemic has actually accelerated something that was going to happen anyways, with the shift from retail, from traditional retail where you actually go to a store and buy something into a digital economy. We can all sit at home on our laptop or on our iPhone and order products, and they're shipped to our home sometimes the same day by Amazon and by other vendors. So that has generated a demand for more warehouse space. You don't need storefronts, you just need places where you can keep goods and products that can be delivered quickly. So there's never been a stronger demand for industrial, for warehousing, logistics, and distribution than there is right now, and it's going to continue because even after the pandemic is over, this new way of doing things is going to continue. So Ocoee traditionally has had a very strong industrial market near the auction. We have a lot of automotive uses. We also have Cisco, a major national food distributor. They've been there since, I looked at the records, they've been there since 1966. That building was built in 1966. So there's UPSs out there, Viking Supply. We have a lot of major companies. As Craig mentioned, we've had two very successful industrial parks built just in the last 4 years. The park at 429, that was 500,000 square feet of industrial, where City Furniture went in there. And then most recently, the Ocoee Business Park in McGuire, another 500,000 square feet of retail. We've seen Paradise Grills set up a manufacturing company there. We've seen Ballistics Advantage, they manufacture parts for rifles. They're very successful. They're there. So we're going to continue to see it. Obviously, these companies come in. These are good. This is good for the city. But the one thing about industrial development, it brings trucks, large trucks. Compatibility is extremely important. And I think, Commissioner Wilson, you said this at the last meeting. We need smart growth and we need smart planning. We have a great team here. We want to make sure that industrial is going in areas that it's compatible, that it's not impacting our residents. We certainly don't want, none of us want 18-wheelers in our backyards or in our roads. So I think the market is going to continue. I think there's opportunity to attract companies into Ocoee, but we want to make sure that we put them in the right areas. We do. There are redevelopment opportunities. We have a lot of older warehouses that were built in the 1970s, metal buildings that could be repurposed at some point. And we have the infrastructure there. We have the 429, we have the Turnpike, we have the 408. We just want to make sure that industrial development goes in areas that's compatible and not impacting our residents. So I'm here to answer any questions. Thank you, Mayor and Commissioner.
Thank you.
Can I?
Yeah.
This off, and I'll be just a second. Thank you, because I think that it's something that we have to look at very seriously, because the last thing, if you travel down Clark Road, I'm going to use District 2 as an example. When you travel down Clark Road, we don't see semis. The other day, I did see one the other day. I don't know what it was. It was a tanker of some kind coming, and it turned down White Road. White Road is not a road where you bring semis down, and that's what's going to happen, is when they find alternate routes, they're going to travel within our residence areas, and we have to protect our homes. We don't want a semi, I'm sorry, but I don't want a semi within 200 feet of my house at 3 in the morning waiting for a loading dock to open. I think we have to look at smart growth. And I know there's something that probably we've done before, and maybe we want to think about it again. We did a moratorium on building. I believe it was out on, was that going to Winter Garden on Plant Street in that area? We did a moratorium a few years ago. I don't know if that's something that the commission would want to look at or ask the staff to look at.
We did it on the dollar stores and automotive.
Okay, I knew we had a moratorium. And it's something that I don't know if the commission is interested in having staff look at. Again, smart growth is what I'm concerned with, and protecting our residence areas, keeping our industry in the industrial area. So.
All right. That it?
That's it, thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Rumor, Mr. Shadrick. All right, one other thing, a couple announcements here.
One minute, Mayor, can I ask, is that something that we as a commission would like the staff to check, or do you want to, I mean, I'm just asking that, throwing it out at this point, if you don't mind.
I'd rather us think about it and bring it back at the next meeting.
Okay, just,
I want to make a couple comments about well, I'll go ahead and do that first before I make the announcements.
if you don't mind, I'm sorry.
One of the things, I brought that up because everything goes in development by what the area is. If it's a zoning area, that's what we have zoning for in our city. If it's industrial zoning, that's where the industrial is supposed to be. Over on Clark Road in the area by the mall, that's not an industrial area. So that's why I brought that up. I don't want to hear about it going there because that's not where it's supposed to be. But you cannot stop everything when zoning. Zoning, it pretends where industrial areas are at. That's why you have zoning. So you designate the areas for industrial, and that's where it's going to be. So we don't have that problem if we control where it goes, and that's what our job is to make sure we know if we're going to zone an area that's going to be industrial, commercial, or business, that's what that is. We don't want to start putting it in places like on Clark Road where houses are at. So you have them all on the corner, but then when you come down, there was supposed to be some commercial going down that area, but there's not. So now, do we put industrial in that area? No. So you got to realize that we don't want to do industrial in a residential area where people live. Who wants semis coming by the house at night, trailing through there? But that's one of the major things that I see zoning is what I wrote down was what area. And then Mr. Della Portilla just mentioned it, it's where you put it at. And that's where we have designated areas in our city about where it goes. Okay, announcements. The March the 9th election qualifying period for districts 2 and 4 ends this Friday at noon. Please see the city clerk for more information. All right. Also, that goes along with that, there's been a request from the Women's Club to host political forum in City Hall and to broadcast by live stream. Attendance restrictions will be enforced due to COVID, date, and time to be determined. Are you still in the?
I'm in the women's club, yes.
All right. When we get the date, we need to have that where we can advertise it. Another thing, I was listening to what people were saying, and what happened up in, let me get back to where I can find that thing. I pulled it up and I want to read it.
Is the women's club asking for something?
Huh?
Did the women's
They
club ask?
asked them to have the political forum in City Hall, like we always do. So is it a consensus we can do that? It's also going to be live stream. Now,
Okay, I can't vote on it because I'm sorry.
No, I know.
First
I know
vice
that.
president of the women's club, so, and I,
well, it's every year we have it, so do you guys, commissioners, want to have it or not?
Now, I don't mind having it as long as we, if the women's club is going to do it, as long as we open up to other organizations that want to do the same thing and offer them, afford them the same opportunity as the women's club.
Well, the women's club is in town, and they're the ones that've always done it. That's why we have it.
Well, if there's any other
Yeah.
organizations that's in town
Yeah,
that want to do
in
the same
town.
thing, I
Yeah.
would say
Yeah.
that we offer them the same opportunity
Yeah.
as the women's club.
Yeah. All right. Unity.
Mayor, one other thing. Typically, the request from the Women's Club in the past has been to have the forum and to spend the funds to broadcast because it would be the cost of bringing the employees
Right.
in that night. So that's just something we need to get a consensus on too.
That's why I was asked if everybody was approved consensus.
with the exception of leaving me out, please.
Commissioner
Because
Wilson
I
can't
have
go
to-
there. She's
I
a
have
member.
no problem with
I
that.
have
have
no
to
problem.
I didn't know if you had concluded the videotape or the.
Yeah, I have no problem with it.
Okay.
Yep, I have no
Anybody?
problem with it as long as it's offered to other organizations within the city. to
Right,
do
we
the
would
same
bring
thing.
those forward to you
Yeah.
for the same.
Gotcha,
the
thank
same-
you.
All right.
Mayor, just say I have to complete Form 8B regarding my
Yeah.
ability
All
not
right.
to
Just
vote
give
on
it to
this
city
item.
clerk.
Okay, did I? because I'm
It's
first
on
vice
public
president.
record. You stated that.
I just want to make it, because yes, I'm first vice president of the Women's
All right.
Club. Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to make a comment about, things that happened in Washington in January, stuff that should never happen, just as things that happened all over the United States this past year should never happen. We go through this process, and I keep hearing unity and unity and unity. So I pulled this up and I want to read it. Just make sure, because unity is a thing that we all need to do, and it's one of the things I hear a lot, but nobody seems to understand and don't seem to get together when we say unity. And we keep preaching about doing unity. The state of fact being united or combined into one. As of the parts of a whole, unification, absence of diversity, unvaried or uniform character, oneness of mind, feeling, etc., as among a number of persons, concord, harmony, or agreement, which we all need to think about that, and that's what it means. We all need to be under that unity, and that's why we hear it a lot, but we all need to adhere to it. So that's my comments. Anybody more else comments for the good? If not, we're going to, I don't think I have any more announcements. Sir, did you fill out the form? Yes, sir. Okay. All right. No more comments? Meeting adjourned.